What's up, vinyl community? This is Metal Tag 2021. Let's go. So, like I said, this is a Metal Tag 2021. It's the first one apparently. It's done by Scott the Rock Scout. 20 questions, just like the regular vinyl tag. We're just going to get right into it. First question is, music spoiled by vocals. This one, I love the music and stuff, but I'm really not a fan of his vocals. I don't know what it is, it just rubbed me the wrong way, I guess. If they had a different singer, I think this would be an awesome album. I just do not like this guy's vocals. I'm not sure who's the vocalist. Nasty Habits. Nasty Habits. Yeah, they all have, not all of them, but Nasty Habits is lead vocals. S.T. Lust. His guitars, Johnny Cottone. C-O-T-T-O-N-E. Cottone. His drums. And Andre. Just Andre is bass. Nasty Habits lead vocalist. Not a big fan of his vocals. So that's question number one. Diamond Rex, Land of the Damned. Question 2. An album that let you down by bad production. I mentioned this before. Dark Angel, Leave Scars. Wonderful album. It's great. Wonderful songs on here. This is the reissue. 500 copies on black vinyl. Third album. This came out last year, 2020 or 2019. I don't know. I don't remember. Originally it was 1989. But yeah, the production on here is absolutely fucking horrendous. It's just so bad. It just sounds like everything's muddled together and, excuse me, I don't know what it is. It's just terrible. I read somewhere that they did it themselves. That's probably the reason why. So, Dark Angel, Leave Scars. Number 3, a band that suffers from a weak member. I went the easy route, the most obvious route. Lars Ulrich from Metallica. He's never been the greatest drummer, in my opinion. He's sufficient. He's adequate. He's not the greatest. So many other drummers are so much better than he is. But yeah, Lars Ulrich. I know it's a cop-out, but I mean, he's terrible. He fucking sucks. Especially on this album, it's just basically the same drumming through every fucking song, pretty much. But everything else on here is pretty good for the guitars, the bass. Even James's vocals aren't bad. Spit Out the Bone is like one of the best songs they've done in fucking years. So yeah, Lars Ulrich. I know, it's a cop-out. Whatever. Number 4, show an album that you think defines heavy. It's Gate Creeper. This is Sonoran Deprivation. This band is heavy as fuck. And yeah, I mean, it's heavy, down-tuned death metal, murky kind of sound to it. Nothing really stands out. You can't. Everything just kind of melds together so well that it just sounds like one instrument, kind of. It's yeah. This is heavy to me. Super heavy. Let's see, what's the next one? Show an album recommended to you by the music community. This was recommended to me by the Death Doom Metalhead, Necrovault. This is, I'll butcher this. Jesus Christ. Totazug Festering Peregrination. Yeah, I don't know. Kind of the same vein as Gate Creeper. Yeah. Recommended to me after. I showed Gate Creeper, I think, and Tomb Mold. One other one. Oh, Blood Incantation. He said, you might want to check this out. It's pretty good. And fucking right, it was good. I loved it. I had to buy it on vinyl. Necrovault. Pretty new band. Show an album that takes your musical taste in a different direction. I could have chosen Eminem, because that's pretty far from metal. But I went with this because this is dance and pop. Female vocalist. She's English. Dua Lipa. This is Future Nostalgia. Even if you don't like stuff like this, I do some stuff, not a lot of the newer stuff, but this is like 80s infused, newer pop dance music kind of shit. Brings me back to like the 80s, you know, with Paula Abdul and you know, Lisa and Cult Jam and Janet Jackson, stuff like that. That's what it reminds me of, but with like production from now instead of back then. It's listening to it on vinyl. It sounds even better than streaming. I heard so much on that than I did on streaming. So, and I've listened to it streaming like 6 or 7 times. Plus, she's fucking hot as hell. That's not why I got it. So, a gem from your collection. He said a gem would be something that you think an album or a band that needs more recognition. Well, let's see. There's a question later on about that. About recognition. A metal band that deserves more recognition. That's number 19. But this is a band that an album that you think more people should listen to. It's Holy Grail, Crisis in Utopia, their first full-length album. This is a mix of like new album, speed metal, touches of thrash metal, touches of death metal. The singing's like new album. A lot of the music's venturing into speed. Certain parts are venturing into thrash. There's the guitarist, I forget what his name is. Certain songs will do a little bit where he's got like almost death metal vocals. Yeah, it's, if I had to put this in a genre, I would say more speed metal than anything. Well, speed metal / new album. Yeah. But yeah, Holy Grail. The first track on here is called My Last Attack. That's shit, like a straight up speed metal song almost. But then they got Call of Valhalla, which is a slower down mid-tempo. It's great. Holy Grail, Crisis in Utopia. Just stream my Last Attack. It's fucking amazing. Stay. Okay, the band in your collection that formed closest to where you live. There is a band that actually formed in my area, but it's not metal. They're what they call pop punk, I believe. The River City Rebels. But to do the metal route would be Anthrax. I live in Vermont, and they formed in, I believe, Long Island, or Staten Island? I think it's Long Island. Somewhere. They formed in New York. And New York borders Vermont, so this would be the closest band that formed near me. Anthrax. Let's see. A metal album you reach for melody-wise. Fate's Warning, Parallels. A lot of melody on here, in my opinion. With the music itself and the vocals. This is like a progressive metal album, whereas I think their earlier stuff, like The Spectre Within and Night on Brocken, were more almost speed or power metal. But this is more progressive, and pretty much everything they've done after this was more in the progressive vein than power or speed metal. It's not as fast, but This would be what I would go for melody. Let's see, where's the next one? The album in your collection you would sell first. Well, it's not just one. It would be 3. 3 of these Ratt albums. Out of the Cellar, Invasion of Your Privacy, and Reach for the Sky. Is that Reach for the Sky? Yeah, Reach for the Sky. Even though Reach for the Sky is probably my favorite out of the 3, never been a huge fan of Ratt. They kind of bore me. I bought them just because I like a few songs, but they're still not a band I would reach for when I wanted to listen to sleaze, hair, glam metal type stuff. On the radio, I wouldn't change the channel, but yeah, if somebody said, "Hey, I'll give you, money for those 3 albums," I'd be like, "Sure, here you go." Or somebody said, "Hey, I don't have, this album in my collection." I'd be like, "You want it? I'll give it to you." Hell, I just give these away. It's not like I paid very much for these anyway. The Ratt. All 3 of those. Second would be Motley Crue. Blasphemy! Oh my god, did I just say that? I'm not a big fan of Motley Crue anymore either. What subgenre of metal would you delete from existence? That's number 11. Subgenre of metal I would delete from existence would be nu metal. N-U metal. Nu metal. That includes Korn, Limp Bizkit, Linkin Park, Disturbed, Stained. All the bands like that. Be fucking gone. There's no reason for that shit to exist. Why? I mean, I hate it. I like 1 or 2 songs probably from each of those bands. I own the first Linkin Park album on CD, but every album after that sounds exactly the same as the first album. There's no variation. Same with Stained. Same with fucking, well, Korn. They changed a little bit, but I'm just not a big fan. I can do without any of that. Band or artist you would most like to see a reissue in 2021. Overkill, The Years of Decay. That will always be the answer to a question like that. Overkill, The Years of Decay. Because I cannot find a fucking original copy of that anywhere. Cheap. Everyone I've seen on Discogs is over $100. And there's no fucking way in hell I am paying that much for a fucking album. No. Number 13. Which 80s metal act would you like to see come back? I'd like to see with a comeback. Oh. I wrote this wrong. Which 80s metal act would you like to see come back? Would you like to see a comeback from? I forgot the A. I would love to see a Dangerous Toys new album. I'd buy it if it came out, even if it kind of sucked. I'd still buy it. It'll never happen, though, because Jason McMaster's lead singer is singing for the band Igniter now. So we're never going to see another Dangerous Toys album, I don't think. Not this year, anyway. So, Dangerous Toys. It's a great band. Kind of commercial in a way, but the lyrics really aren't. They catered, to commercialization. But, I mean, they're good. I like them. I like them a lot. Show an alternate variation of an album cover. Yeah, I don't have any. I looked and looked. I have none. So, can't answer that question. A band that for you defines metal. That'd be Slayer. Slayer defines metal for me. They've always, ever since their first album up to their last, have stayed 99% true to their roots and the kind of music that they play. Whereas the other three in the big four have gone more straight up heavy metal, or in Metallica's case, like hard rock. Anthrax, a couple of albums from George Bush, from John Bush era, kind of went more groove metal in a way. Megadeth had some more heavy metal type stuff as well, wasn't as thrashy, where Slayer has basically stayed thrash their entire career, never variating from that. Even Overkill, most of their stuff's been thrashy as well, but they've also dabbled in the groove metal. Slayer's one album, I forget which one it was, they dabbled in the new metal sound a bit. That was kind of it, really. But they've stayed thrashy for like most of their career. One or two missteps here and there, but for the most part, they've been straight up thrash the entire time. So they are what defines metal for me. And they're a great fucking band. And I have a fucking treat for you guys for my next Final Finds, by the way. Sweet. Let's see. Show your most metallic album cover. Ironbound by Overkill. Because I think iron's a metal? I don't really know. But this looks metallic as hell to me, so Overkill, Ironbound. And let's see, we're getting closer to the end. An album you disliked at first, but now highly regard. When I first listened to this album, when I first heard this part of this album, I didn't really like it because I wasn't listening to this music. I found it later on in life. Still didn't really like it because I still wasn't listening to this kind of music at the time. And then just a couple years ago, I decided just to stream the entire album again. And I really liked it. And I streamed all their other stuff as well. I really liked most of that other stuff as well. And that's Obituary. Slowly We Rot. This is an amazing album. It's very raw sounding. This is the Music on Vinyl reissue. 2,000 colored copies. I believe it's green. It's like puke green. Yeah, so Obituary, Slowly We Rot. Next question, I don't even have to look. An album I used to highly regard, but now I disregard. Judas Priest, Point of Entry. Fucking hate this album now. It's so pop rock sounding, very non-Judas Priest-like. I mean, they do have a lot of slower, almost poppy sounding songs on most of their albums, at least one or two generally. But this whole album sounds like poppy commercialized shit to me. And I'd listen probably heading out to the highway and then take the album off, and that was it. So, Judas Priest, Point of Entry. Blah. A metal band that deserves more recognition. Revocation. Death metal. Jazzy feel to it. It's hard to explain. Not your typical lyrics for death metal either. They're not Cookie Monster vocals. They're not John Tandy vocals from Obituary. They're not deep vocals. It's yeah. This is the Outer Ones, by the way, their latest album. But I think they need more recognition because I think they're a great band. And they're what's Blaine Smith from Banger TV called vanilla death metal, because they're not really like in your face death metal, but they're still death metal with thrashy, jazzy kind of influence sounds. So yeah, Revocation. And my number one grail going into 2021 would be Dangerous Toys, Hellacious Acres. That would be my number one grail. Yeah, I have that on cassette. I have First Dangerous Toys on vinyl. I have Pissed on vinyl. Came out for the first time on vinyl last year. No, 2019 I think it was. And, excuse me. Yeah, probably Hellacious Acres. If I could find a copy of that on vinyl, I'd be pretty happy. Not the greatest album. And the cassette tape, the bass is very high. So maybe it sounds different on vinyl. I don't know. Anyway, that's the metal tag. Till next time, have a great one. Rock on.